Have you ever noticed that just because a girl talks to you and wants to hang out, it doesn't mean she's looking for a commitment? Well, that's what Lincoln and his guy friends found out in the episode I'm going to talk about today. So join me as I, SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, bring you another retro review from past seasons of The Loud House. Cue the intro. Today's episode is Be Stella, My Heart. In this episode, the new girl at school starts hanging out with Lincoln and his friends, and the boys suspect she may like one of them as more than a friend. I'm just going to get the most obvious positive out of the way first. The new girl named Stella. We get a more proper introduction to her character following her debut in the earlier season 3 episode, White Hair. She gets a bit of a redesign, most notably regarding her hair and height, but honestly her new design looks way better. At the time when this episode first came out, I saw a lot of potential in her as a character and hoped she would get to do a lot more as the series progressed. She was such a fun and interesting character in this episode, and her actress Haley Chu really gave her a lot of confidence and charisma when delivering her lines. I think it's safe to say it's pretty much impossible to hate a character like Stella, who turned out to be the only saving grace of the episode. Most of the story revolves around Lincoln and his friends thinking Stella's got the hots for one of them, and how they went about trying to figure out who it was came off as rather pathetic, to say the least. This all began when Stella started asking each of the boys to go on what they assumed was a date, and each boy gets mad because she isn't committing to any one of them individually. Feeling confused on why she's asking out each of them one by one, the boys assume Stella is trying to see which guy will blow her out of the water. Good going, Dreamboat. And so they begin fighting to see who she's most likely to choose as her boyfriend. They sabotage each other when trying to race to the lunch table she's sitting at, then they throw hands during gym class, and it's only after beating themselves up do they realize they were about to lose their friendship over a girl. I get what they were going for. The lesson being you shouldn't let a girl come between broships, but it's handled so poorly. Now I understand if they had some romantic feelings for Stella because their facial expressions and total awkwardness in the beginning were a strong indication of that. However, they had the audacity to think everything they went through wasn't even their fault. They actually blamed Stella and accused her of trying to play mind games as her way of pitting them against each other. I'm sorry, but that seriously pissed me off. Stella did not deserve to get chewed out like that, and it's no wonder she was initially ignoring their collective apology near the end. She was always trying to get to know Lincoln and pals, but she wasn't looking for either one of them to be her boyfriend, just a regular friend. She couldn't make an effort when they were together in a group because they were acting like total weirdos, hence why she wanted to get to know them better individually. The part I really liked was how she practically roasted them by saying that maybe they can't handle being friends with a girl. That was so damn satisfying, a total savage Stella moment. And you know, the biggest offender and hypocrite in this episode is Lincoln because he was technically the first one Stella talked to back in the episode White Hair. He learned how he doesn't need to put on an act to get a girl to like him, and yet that's exactly what he's doing in this episode. It's also more damning when you realize the cool guy hairstyle he was originally going to use in White Hair is the same one he uses in this episode. I mean, in fairness, he looked more presentable than his other friends, although I don't think that says a whole lot given who he was up against. So in the end, the boys apologize for acting stupid and for assuming Stella was looking for a boyfriend. She accepts their apology, they all ring in their new friendship by doing their usual lunch swap, and their new female friend offers a new scorpion formation they could use for dodgeball. Not the most amazing ending, but I'll take it. Overall, this episode tries to teach two lessons at the same time. First, you should never let a love interest come between a friendship, and second, you should never assume that just because a girl wants to hang out with a boy, it means the girl is looking for a boyfriend. The first lesson may be an overdone conflict in other shows, and even though I don't think this episode handles the fighting aspect all too well, I still appreciate Lincoln and pals realizing how they shouldn't throw away their friendship over a single girl. However, I will never be okay with them lashing out at Stella and trying to blame her for their actions. She did absolutely nothing wrong, and the guys left a bad first impression with someone who was just trying to get adjusted to a new school. The second lesson is a bit more unique because it's not too common, at least going based on on the shows and movies I've watched. Usually a TV show or movie will have a cast of young characters consisting of 2 boys and 1 girl, or 2 girls and 1 boy, and there's never a romance between either of them. At least not yet in some cases. It may seem weird to say, but this episode demonstrates how just because 2 characters of the opposite sex are hanging out, it doesn't automatically mean they're going to be together, or I guess have to be together. It's like a metaphor to fandoms who love shipping characters when there's no definitive evidence to suggest anything romantic. I'm not saying all fanships are bad, but this Loud House episode makes it very clear early on that Stella was never romantically interested in Lincoln or any of his friends. Maybe the boys thought otherwise, but they learned that not every potential girl who wants to hang out with them is interested in dating. Speaking of dating, the one thing I forgot to mention earlier was the Hi Puffy Amiyumi reference during Liam's date with Stella. It was quick, but cool. The only other thing left to say is Stella was, as I said, the best character of the episode. You want to learn more about her, where she comes from, what makes her tick, and it was great seeing her become a new member of Lincoln's friend group. Even though it takes a long time to get to her spotlight episode, and in the meantime she's mostly presented as just the girl of the group, she's easily the most interesting character out of everyone. I don't mean to make that sound like an insult to the other guys, but you have to admit she does come off as a bit more entertaining. With that said, I give Be Stella My Heart a 5.7 out of 10. Well folks, that concludes my review of Be Stella My Heart. So I gotta ask, what did you guys think of this episode? Sound off in the comments below, and be sure to click that subscribe button for more Loud House related content. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch you guys for the next video, but until then, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, signing off. Peace out, home slices.